Skip it up and that up.
Ladies and gentlemen, your large man-breasted messiah has returned to be in front of the camera. You had faith I would return, right, and not just stick to gameplay?
No, because you said 1,000 times before you were going to go back to filming yourself and you just stuck to gameplay. It was pretty annoying, actually.
Oh, yeah, good point. But anyway, I'm back, and boy, do I have a lot to say about Sony. And no, it's not good. But Nintendo's comeback to them is absolutely amazing. So if you follow this channel, I'm sure you know what's going on with Sony and Fortnite. And it begins with the fact that Sony will not allow Fortnite crossplay between consoles. So if you own a PlayStation 4 and you want to play with a buddy who owns an Xbox One or now a Switch, I got some bad news for you. Sony is not going to let it happen. Now that in and of itself sucks royally. Sony's competitors allow crossplay between consoles, like if you have Fortnite on your Switch, you could play with a buddy who owns an Xbox One. So that makes Sony look terrible. But the shitstorm goes to a whole new level when it comes to Sony. I'm actually quoting this from Destructoid.com because I don't want to miss any details. And man, oh man, Sony, you look so bad when it comes to Fortnite crossplay. The issue that's currently making headlines is the account connectivity problem that's basically screwing tons of players out of items they paid for and their account progress if they want to play on that particular platform. As we've discovered shortly after launch, if you ever registered an Epic account and linked it to your PS4, you cannot link it to your Switch. All your stuff is still present on PS4, but can't be used on Switch. So you'll have to start all over on Nintendo's system with a new account, even if you have nearly a year's worth of progress. It's an abhorrent roadblock that far exceeds crossplay politics, and Sony's response to it is incredibly tone deaf. So you heard that right. A game that Sony doesn't own. Okay, Fortnite is made by Epic Games, and they have it on the PC, the Mac, the Switch, Android, iOS, Xbox, PS4. It's on, if there's a platform out there that's relevant, Fortnite is on there, and Sony does not own anything when it comes to Fortnite or Epic Games. If you made an Epic account to play Fortnite and linked it with your PlayStation 4, even though Epic Games, again, has nothing to do with Sony, and they have the game across multiple platforms, if you made an Epic account and you linked your PlayStation 4, guess what? If you want to continue to play Fortnite on your Switch with the same Epic account, can't do it. So if you have a whole bunch of skins and a whole bunch of progress with your Epic Games account that you have linked on your PlayStation 4 and you want to use that same account on your Xbox One or Switch, Sony ain't going to let you do it. They don't care. You're screwed. But what's even more amazing, what's deliciously, beautifully pathetic, is Sony's official response they gave to the BBC about the whole Fortnite fiasco. This is what Sony has to say about it. We're always open to hearing what the PlayStation community is interested in to enhance their gaming experience. With more than 80 million monthly active users on PlayStation Network, we've built a huge community of gamers who can play together on Fortnite and all online titles. We also offer Fortnite cross-play support with PC, Mac, iOS, and Android devices, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PlayStation 4 to play with even more gamers on other platforms. We have nothing further to add beyond this point. That was Sony's response. Their response was, well, we kind of offer crossplay if it's not with one of our competitors' consoles, but if you have one of our competitors' consoles, we don't care. Screw you. We don't have an official response. That's all we have to say. See ya. Now, former president of Sony Online Entertainment, John Smedley, who now works for Daybreak Games, they're most famous for H1Z1, is not surprised by Sony's standpoint on cross-platform play between consoles. This is what he had to say about it. When I was at Sony, the stated reason internally for this was money. They didn't like someone buying something on an Xbox and it being used on a PlayStation. Simple as that. Dumb reason, but there it is. I mean, did you need a former Sony executive to tell you that? Of course it's about the money. We all knew that already. They want you to stay on the PlayStation platform. They want your friends to think they have to go out and buy a PlayStation to play with you. It's about those dollar signs, son. They don't want you to play with their competitors. They don't want to get along with their competitors when it comes to cross-platform play. They think if they don't make cross-platform play between consoles possible, you'll be forced to go out and buy a PlayStation 4. And if you have a PlayStation 4, it makes Sony money. But what they don't realize is that consumers don't like anti-consumer practices, and this is the epitome of one coming from Sony. Because Sony, you know what makes you a lot of profit too? Being pro-consumer and not being an outright dick. Well, Nintendo is seizing the opportunity to take a passive-aggressive dig at Sony with all this negative publicity surrounding them right now due to the Fortnite fiasco. They released just today this Minecraft cross-platform play trailer today on their YouTube channel. Take a look. It's subtle, it's brilliant, it hits the truth. If you own an Xbox One and you want to play Minecraft with someone on the Nintendo Switch, you can. If you own a Nintendo Switch and your buddy has an Xbox One, you want to play Minecraft together, you can. I personally don't give a crap about Minecraft, but it was a very, very good trailer to release at a perfectly opportune time. Well played, Nintendo. Sony. Due to this Fortnite fiasco, your stock shares dropped 2% at one point. The amount of negative publicity surrounding you right now is incredible. You're giving your two biggest competitors, Nintendo and Microsoft, to sully your name and make you look awful. And you know what? They have every right to do so because what you're doing sucks. It's amazing how when a corporation is on top of their game, and look, Microsoft and Nintendo have done the same thing in the past before too, but when a corporation is on top of their game, how fast they forget the mistakes they made and they repeat the same mistakes. How did the 7th generation start off for you, Sony?
$599. So here's this giant enemy crab. Ridge Racer!
Where you were on top of your game from the PlayStation 2 generation and you thought that people would have emptied out their bank accounts and basically took out home equity loans to buy a PlayStation 3. How did that work out for you? In the end, Sony, you ended up making a comeback and selling more consoles than the Xbox 360 did in the 7th generation, but the PlayStation 3 had a rough start. You overpriced the hell out of that thing, you had virtually no games for it when it was first released, and you just assumed because everyone loved the PlayStation 2 that they were going to go out and fork over all that cash to buy a PlayStation 3. And because they didn't, and because you had to change your whole business strategy, you became humbled, Sony. Granted, another reason why you became so aggressive in the 7th generation is because basically PlayStation kept Sony afloat while the other business sectors of Sony crumbled, but still, when you were humble, Sony, you became very pro-consumer. Microsoft, this generation, they thought that they were going to have a repeat of the Xbox 360 with the Xbox One. And basically in the beginning when they first revealed the Xbox One, it seemed like a giant cable box that just so happened to be able to play games. It turned a lot of people off. Xbox One sales lagged. Microsoft became humble and they became very pro-consumer and they were very aggressive with their marketing. Granted, they're still not beating the PlayStation 4 in terms of sales numbers, but the Xbox One did make a comeback when they became more about the gamer. People appreciate humility and want to give you their money when they see that you're pro-consumer. When you try to paint the consumer in a corner and give the customer no choices like what Sony's doing with Fortnite, it makes you look terrible and it turns people off to your product. And Sony, the next generation is somewhat around the corner. It's probably at least a couple years from now, but it's not that far off. The last thing you want to do right now is piss off people when they have many other options to go play games on. They don't have to just buy a PlayStation to play the best games out there. Yes, Sony has amazing exclusives, but so do other companies. Don't let the success of the PlayStation 4 make you arrogant again, Sony, because the PlayStation 5 could falter just like the PlayStation 3 did when it was first released. History can repeat itself. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.